right, good afternoon, everyone. It's about 1:45 in the afternoon today. It is October 1st, and I am going to go to a spot, and I've never been there before. Never scouted it. I've only e-scouted it. I've never been there, feet on the ground at all. It's hot today. It's about 70 degrees, which means that everything's probably laying low. And probably near water, in cover, close to food, not moving a lot. So I am going to go into a swamp that I just found on Onyx. It's got some cutting near it, which I like as a possible food source. I also see that there's some deciduous trees near there, but I don't know what type. They could be oaks, they could be maples, they could be beech, they could be ash, they could be anything. I don't know. So I'll get in there and see what we got, and I very well could waste a whole afternoon going into a spot that has zero sign in it, or I could end up really having a great afternoon. I don't know. The thing that I like about today is it's supposed to rain tonight, so the pressure's dropping just a little bit, and that change in weather pattern might get things up and moving. So we'll see what happens, but I'm kind of excited to see a new spot. I'm kind of nervous because I don't know what's going to happen with this spot. But I'm leaving early so that I can jump out there, see what's going on, and hopefully take my time just figuring it out just a little bit. And then hopefully I find some fresh sign and I can just set right up on it. And this is better than going and scouting a spot and leaving and coming back, because when you scout a spot, very often you leave something behind, whether it's, it's scent wise, you leave some kind of scent behind. So I'm just going to jump in on this, throw my saddle up, hopefully on some fresh sign, and see if anything comes in. And if not, then I saw some new area, and it'll be a good afternoon just because of that. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'll check in probably once I get to the parking area or something like that. And I'll do my best to try to walk through the process of how I'm picking this thing apart. So I'll see you when we get there. All right, so I did some scouting, and it's hot today. It's dipping fast though. It's like in the mid 60s already, and it's only like 4 o'clock. I did about an hour worth of just putzing around. I had my scent lock on the whole time, try to control that scent a little bit. Which is probably why I'm sweating so bad. But at least I'm sweating in my clothes and not just dripping it all over the place. There's tracks all throughout this swamp edge, but and they're all fresh. There's a lot of fresh sign. But I started getting into some bucky areas here. Some fresh rubs. It looks like a lot of them all in one spot, like getting velvet off. And then a little bit of just highways through here. So I set up kind of on a junction. I'll show you here in a second. But right down below me also is an old scrape from last year. It's big. It's like probably 7 feet long by 3 feet wide. It's a good scrape. So I'll remember this spot. I marked it on my Onyx, because this is a pretty easy spot to get in and out of. I might have, I might not have a good hunt today off of it, but when this scrape starts to heat up, I might want to poke back in here. This looks like a good spot. So on my way in, I didn't see anything until I got in this area. So I might be right on the edge of some buck's territory, or I might be in the middle of it, or they might not be here at all yet. So I just wanted to get in a tree. It's hard down here in this swamp to find a good tree, so I'm in a hemlock right now. It's just got branches everywhere, which is making it hard for me to get a good setup in it, but I've got a good enough setup where most likely I'm going to have to shoot behind me. So I'm going to have to just sit and keep an eye behind me. And I couldn't get that high up off the ground either, which isn't great, but I'm high enough up that, you know, I'm outside of their immediate line of sight. So yeah, this could be good. This could be good, especially later on in the season. Once we get into late October and they're hitting scrapes, this could be a really good spot to remember. So log that in my bank for now and just see how tonight goes. But it's like 4 o'clock now, so I've got about 3 hours to sit. So I'm just gonna lock it in and see how tonight goes. So I just had that doe come in. She circled me, starting out over here and going up and around. Was with me for about 20 minutes or so. And came right in front of me. I mean, 5-6 yards away. Maybe 7. And I mean, she was right there, but she was like 60 pounds at the heaviest. Probably closer to 50, 55. I would say 60 at the heaviest. I am way back here in some really thick stuff, and if I'm going to be dragging something out, I'd like it to not be that small. I have no issue with harvesting a doe back here, but that doe was very juvenile. I mean, honestly, probably lost its spots this year. It was small. It was probably birthed in the spring, and I don't know where Mom is. I was hoping Mom would show up, because at that age it could live by itself. Now that it's lost its spots. It was at least birthed last year. It was small, but it's on its own. I feel like maybe Mom got hit or killed or something, because I feel like Mom should have still been somewhere close by. But I don't know. That's a little mystery. But it's 5:30 now. I waited a little bit because she was still hanging around, so I wanted to see if something came in right after. But Mom was nowhere to be found. No one else was around, so I'm gonna just hunker down and wait till sunset. But hopefully something else comes in. I think I'm in them. So Could be eventful, could not be. Who knows? Hopefully the next video is me shooting a big one. What an awesome sit. That was cool. I mean, I had never been to that spot before. I'd only ever e-scouted it. Just looked at a map, decided to check it out. It was different from what I thought. I thought it was like good cutting on the edge of a swamp, but it was like old cutting and thick and nasty to walk through. But I found a couple rubs from this year, like a handful of them, all around in the same area. And I found that old scrape, too, that was just freaking huge. And there's game paths everywhere down there. And then I had that small little 60-pound doe come walking in a couple times. Kept on circling around, hanging out there. And Mom was nowhere to be found until she was there. So she was hanging around. She just was lying low, and the little one was kind of bebopping. So about, I don't know, I think it was a little after 6. Mom popped up, and I heard some walking over to my right. And then I saw her walk, and she was walking through the trees. It was just way too thick to even consider thinking about getting a shot off. I saw her, I saw the size of her body. I know it was a mature doe, but then she was gone, and there was no way to get shot off or anything. So that was cool, though. I mean, just to jump into a brand new spot like this, I'd never been here, never set foot. You know, I've set foot in places similar to it. So like once I got down into an area, I was like, okay, this is similar to X, Y, and Z place. So I don't know, I'll just trump around and see what I can find for a fresh sign. And I laid myself right down on some. So I don't think I'm going to come back here soon. I think I'm going to wait a little bit. I think this could be a really good pre-rut spot. Like once the pre-rut kicks off in late October in a couple weeks, yeah, give me like 3 weeks to let this place sit, and then I might swing back down here and sit down and around that scrape, especially if I can check it and see that they're hitting it. Yeah, I bet you this place is not out of the beaten path. It's just hard to get down into where I was. I bet you this place gets hit hard during rifle, so I want to try to get this place done and then forgotten about once rifle season hits. So, yeah, late October, I think I'm going to plan another day to come down, in the early afternoon and sit for an evening, or yeah, I'll probably come down here midday and do that. So I'm excited to bring you guys along for that one. I think there might be some action on it, maybe not, but there was some action tonight. It was fun. So I hope you guys all had a good night too. I did, up in the tree, and finally it took me a while to get out of there because it's so thick to walk through. But yeah, I made it. It was a good day. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.